The room you're in right now, this space around you, is a map for a game almost no one sees. Look at the faces, the postures, the unspoken rituals. For every 10 people present, 9 are merely reading lines from a script they didn't write. Their moves are predictable reactions, a desperate need for approval, a fear of stillness, a chaos of unchecked feeling. They believe they are thinkers, but they are echoes. Then there's the 10th, the one who reads the room instead of the script. The one who notices the tension in a handshake, the ambition hidden behind a compliment, the silent calculation beneath a smile. This person isn't a participant in the usual sense. They are the observer, the analyst. And unless you learn to see through their lens, you will remain a piece on their board, moved by forces you don't comprehend. Most spend a lifetime confused. They work with integrity but watch opportunities slip away. They see the blunt and the cunning advance and console themselves with tales of an unfair world. The uncomfortable truth: you have been educated to be manageable, to be predictable, to be safe. There is a thinker, often misunderstood, who cut through the pretense of human nature. His name was Niccolo Machiavelli. He wasn't an advocate for evil. He was a cartographer of reality. He documented the terrain of power as it is, not as we wish it to be. And he understood one rule that, if ignored, guarantees your stagnation. In a world that is not purely good, a strategy built solely on goodness is a blueprint for defeat. This isn't about becoming cruel. It's about becoming clear. It's about transitioning from the 90% who feel the game to the 10% who understand it. I am going to give you the lens to see the board. We will dismantle the comforting myths of inherent fairness and universal goodwill, myths that leave you exposed. When we finish, you won't just enter a room. You will scan a battlefield. You will identify pressure points. You will recognize the game, and you will finally hold the rulebook. But caution, once this lens focuses, your old way of seeing shatters forever. Let's begin. The primary error, the one that drains your power and invites disappointment, is what I call narrative living. You operate based on a story. You enter an interaction believing others will match your honesty, reward your diligence, or honor your sacrifice. This is the dreamer's delusion, and it is costly. Machiavelli wrote, "The man who tries to be good all the time is bound to come to ruin among the great number who are not good." Read that twice. He isn't condemning virtue. He's warning that virtue alone is not armor. The majority project their own inner narrative onto others. If you value loyalty, you assume it governs all. You think explaining your pain will summon empathy. You act as if cosmic justice is a guaranteed force. It isn't. Justice is a negotiated idea. Power is a fundamental force. To navigate past the majority, you must cease longing for a kinder world and start analyzing the real one. When someone undermines you, the common reaction is emotional autopsy. How could they? That question leads nowhere. Instead, ask the analytical question: what did they gain? People are architects of their own advantage. Always. Even acts of apparent generosity serve a need for the giver: validation, identity, social credit. Grasping this ends your cycle of surprise and hurt. The crowd is stunned when a company treats them as a number, when a partner seeks greener pastures, when a confidant trades secrets for social stock. The strategic observer is never stunned. They anticipated it. This sounds harsh. It feels cold, but ask yourself, who survives the storm? The sailor who believes the sea is fond of him, or the one who studies its currents and builds a seaworthy ship? The second sailor may never love the ocean, but he will cross it. You must build your ship. This is the pivotal shift. Stop auditing words. Words are currency, often counterfeit. Begin auditing actions. If language says "I value you," but behavior says "you are convenient," trust the behavior. If the slogan is "we're a team," but the policy is "you are expendable," trust the policy. The instant you release your moral expectation of how you should be treated, you become immune to a layer of manipulation. You become a pragmatist. And in a theater full of idealists, the pragmatist directs the play. You must retire the inner child that demands cosmic fairness. It is a vulnerability. Accept the landscape as it is, competitive, self-interested, often messy. Once you accept it, you can chart it. You can prepare for its storms. You cease being a casualty of the weather and become a student of the climate. We exist in an era of compulsive disclosure. Observe social feeds, comment threads, casual conversations. People are desperate to announce their thoughts, plans, and identities. They mistake volume for control, explanation for advantage. They are incorrect. Every uttered word is a data leak. Every self-justification hands potential leverage to an opponent. The Florentine knew the most influential person is frequently the most reserved. Why? Because intelligence is power. When you speak, you distribute it. When you listen, you collect it. The majority are allergic to quiet. Test it. Next conversation, when a statement hangs in the air, simply wait. Hold eye contact. Let 4 seconds of silence stretch. Watch the reaction. They will rush to fill the void, often revealing more than intended, a hidden motive, a softened position, a genuine fear. Silence is a pressure chamber. Most will offer their truth to equalize the pressure. The strategic mind wields silence as a tool. They are at ease with intention. When provoked or challenged, the instinct of the herd is to defend, to clarify, to plead their case. Stop. Defending validates the attack. It signals their words have weight. Instead, deploy the quiet. Look at them, say nothing, or pose a calm, simple question. What leads you to that view? Then wait. Observe the shift. By refusing to play on their emotional field, you elevate your position. You become the inquisitor, they become the explainer. You must learn to deprive others of your emotional output. Many are reaction addicts. They probe to see if you startle. If you startle, they now know your triggers. If you are stillness, if you are the quiet, you become an enigma. They cannot chart your emotional topography, and what they cannot map they must cautiously respect. This applies to your ambitions. Move in silence is repeated because it is true. Announcing a plan creates resistance. Tell a friend you're launching a venture and you inherit their doubts. Tell a rival and you invite sabotage. Tell the world, and the dopamine of acknowledgement can satisfy the drive needed to actually execute. Keep your intentions private. Let assumptions paint you as ordinary or even unremarkable. It is profoundly safer to be underestimated than to be marked. The advisor to princes recommended being a consummate performer. Be a mist. When you are a mist, they cannot get a clean aim. They tire themselves swinging at shadows, and that is your moment. Practice this for 1 week. Have your explanatory words. Stop justifying why you're late. I was held up. Full stop. Stop rationalizing a declined invitation. I won't be there. Period. Stop debating to win trivial points. Just absorb. You will feel a reserve of energy you've never tapped. You conserve fuel while they burn theirs. You are becoming the designer. A critical warning. If you become too reserved, too detached, you risk becoming a different kind of target. People fear the unknown. If that fear becomes too potent, they may unite against what they don't understand. To move seamlessly among the majority, you must occasionally blend. This requires a mask, but not the mask you imagine. Most wear a mask to conceal inadequacy. They pretend to have more, know more, be more. This is novice behavior and breeds resentment. The strategic individual wears a mask of relatable humanity. They employ calculated vulnerability. If you appear too capable, too composed, too faultless, you incite insecurity. You become a mirror reflecting their own shortcomings. To disarm this, you must selectively reveal a flaw, but you choose the flaw. Admit a minor oversight. Express a measured concern. Request counsel on a matter you've already decided. Why? Because asking for advice makes the other feel intelligent, superior. When someone feels superior to you, their defenses lower. They stop viewing you as a threat and start seeing you as an ally or a pupil. You are trading a small piece of ego for a large gain in trust. This is the courtier's art. The majority champion just be yourself as the ultimate virtue. This is a luxury for solitude. In the arena of the world, you are playing a role. If you are frustrated but the scene demands charm and you be yourself by snapping, you have lost. You let a transient feeling sabotage a lasting outcome. The 10% do not be themselves. They curate a persona. They ask, which facet of my capability is needed to navigate this moment? Does this call for the mountain, immovable, grounded? Or does it require the stream, adaptive, finding the path of least resistance? Most have one setting, always the mountain, stubborn, or always the stream, yielding. The master toggles between them seamlessly. This feels inauthentic. I sense your objection. It sounds manipulative. It is not. It is emotional discipline. A doctor does not be themselves when delivering difficult news. They adopt the persona of the competent healer for the patient's outcome. Apply that everywhere. Your superior is berating you. Your raw self wants to retaliate. Your strategic self knows that ends your influence. So you wear the mask of the composed professional. You listen. You endure. You live to strategize another day. The mask is a shield. It creates a barrier between your core and the world's abrasions. Show the world your naked heart, and it will be scarred. Show it a crafted facade, and only the facade can be scratched. Reserve your core truth for the vanishingly few who have earned its weight. For the rest, offer the performance that secures your objective. This isn't deception. It is operational security. In a forest, camouflage isn't dishonest. It is essential. Now we approach the difficult lesson. The one your softer instincts reject. Most chase universal affection. They believe a life with zero adversaries is a life well lived. They are mistaken. If you have no opponents, you stand for nothing. You are a weather vane, spinning with every breeze, challenging no one. The strategist knows that opposition isn't just inevitable, it is instructive. The majority are brittle under disapproval. A critical comment destabilizes them. An office rival consumes their focus. They seek to appease, to mollify. The outlier uses the opponent. Consider who audits you with brutal honesty, not friends. Friends out of love often enable your weaknesses. They soften hard truths. But an adversary examines your foundation for cracks. If you have a flaw, they will find and exploit it. Your enemy is your most rigorous quality control agent. Instead of seething at criticism, dissect it. Why did they strike that specific point? Is it because it's truly a weakness? If so, they have gifted you a diagnosis. Thank them. Are they attacking because your progress threatens them? If so, they have confirmed your momentum. Thank them. The eagle does not fret over the chatter of crows, but it notes their presence as it scans the landscape. You must cultivate antifragility, a concept given a modern name but ancient in practice. The fragile breaks under stress. The robust withstands it. The antifragile uses stress to strengthen. The 90% are fragile. An insult shatters them. You must become antifragile. Let doubt become your kindling. There is no purer fuel than the focused will to demonstrate someone's error. Do not avoid friction. Friction is the whetstone. If you find yourself in universal agreement, you are in an echo chamber. You are dulling. Seek the arena where blades are sharpened. That is where you gain your edge. Here is the modern era's most pervasive addiction, not to substances but to the immediate. Instant delivery, constant connection, endless scrolling. The 90% have lost the capacity for temporal depth. They cannot see beyond the horizon of next month. They exercise for a week, see no transformation and quit. They start a project, lack instant validation and abandon it. They send a message and spiral if the reply is delayed. They are prisoners of the present. The strategic mind plays the long convergence. They understand that genuine power is accrued through compounding. To navigate past the majority, simply extend your timeline. While they scramble for the instant score, you are laying a foundation. While they react to today's noise, you are studying cycles that span centuries. This demands a specific endurance, the endurance of patience. Patience is not passive waiting. It is active resistance against your own impulses. It is choosing not to grasp. It is choosing silence over shouting. It is laboring in obscurity for years to own the stage for decades. You face a version of the marshmallow test every single day. The majority eat the marshmallow now. They take the hollow prestige. They chase the fleeting pleasure. They mortgage tomorrow to finance today. The strategist inverts this. They invest the currency of today into the wealth of tomorrow. They evaluate a choice with one filter. Will this matter in a decade? If no, it is noise. If yes, it receives absolute focus. Become a temporal voyager. When the urge to react, to quit, to indulge swells, project yourself 5 years forward. Look back. Will you cherish this surrender or honor this restraint? The capacity to delay gratification is the supreme predictor of achievement precisely because it is now so rare. Be the one who plants an oak, knowing you may never rest under it, but your legacy will own the grove. That is how empires are built. The others are accumulating ruins. We are taught that self-interest is a vice. We are instructed to sacrifice until it aches, to be the martyr, the perpetual giver. This philosophy is bankrupt. Observe the nice people, the perpetual affirmers. Are they fulfilled? Are they powerful? No, they are depleted. They harbor quiet resentment. They are utilized and then discarded. And they often despise the very people they help, because their giving was a transaction seeking approval. This isn't virtue. It is cowardice in a noble costume. To move differently, you must embrace rational self-preservation. This means securing your own foundation first. Your health, your mind, your resources, your purpose. You learn to say no without appending an apology. No is a full statement. When you say yes to an unwanted demand, you are saying no to your own priorities. You are betraying your time, the one asset you cannot replenish. The majority are terrified of the label selfish. Let them use it. Because here lies the paradox. Only those who are truly full can give authentically. When you have built your stability, your capacity, your strength, you can uplift others from a place of overflow, not obligation. A drained well cannot provide water. A weakened guardian cannot offer protection. You must fortify yourself first. This requires a season of ruthless prioritization, a phase of necessary isolation where you prune away what drains you. You will lose connections. You will unsettle those accustomed to your endless availability. Good. You are cutting away the dead weight so the vessel can sail. The old advisor noted it is safer to be respected than adored if you cannot have both. Why? Because affection is conditional, often tied to your utility, but earned respect, rooted in clear boundaries and demonstrated strength, endures. Do not seek universal love. Seek substantive respect. And respect is won by valuing your own existence enough to defend its parameters. Stop burning your energy to warm those who would let you turn to ash. You are not a match. You are a forge. You generate your own heat, and your gravity organizes the world around you. We arrive at the final principle, the one that synthesizes all others, the ultimate distinction between the observer and the observed. It isn't intellect or resources. It is emotional sovereignty. The 90% are servants to their biochemical signals. A setback triggers sadness, so they halt. A provocation triggers anger, so they strike. They are reactive circuits. Input dictates output. The strategic thinker breaks this loop. They understand emotions are raw energy. Energy cannot vanish, only be redirected. Frustration is energy. Grief is energy. Potent, high-density fuel. The average person vents this energy. They complain, they numb, they dissipate it into the ether until they are empty. The outlier captures it. They construct a refinery in their mind. When they feel disrespected, they don't rant. They take that searing current and channel it into their craft. They refine their skills. They become more precise. I will demonstrate otherwise is the most potent engine for human progress. When they feel profound loss, they don't merely grieve. They alchemize that weight into creation, into insight, into physical transformation. This is the real work, turning base emotional metal into a refined tool. You must start viewing your feelings as data, not as commands. Feeling fear doesn't mean stop. It means your system is alerting you to a significant moment. Feeling fatigue doesn't mean quit. It means dig deeper. The herd lets feelings direct actions. I don't feel motivated. Who cares what you feel? The 10% let actions direct feelings. They do the work, and the feeling of earned pride follows. You must become the operator of your own internal machinery. Imagine a quiet control room behind your eyes. You see the alert for resentment flash on the screen. The common response is to smash the console. You observe the alert. You note, high-energy signal detected, reroute to discipline systems. This is ultimate autonomy. When you are no longer puppet to your own chemistry, you become impervious to external strings. You are the sovereign of your inner state. So what manifests when you integrate these 7 lenses? When you see reality without filter, weaponize quiet, wear the necessary mask, learn from opposition, master time, prioritize your foundation and transmute your pain. You do not become a villain. You become a calm sovereign. You enter a space and feel no compulsion to be the loudest voice. You have nothing to prove. You perceive the game. You see the strings. You notice the insecure performance and feel understanding, not jealousy. You detect the flatterer's maneuver and feel curiosity, not flattery. You witness the world's chaos and feel a strategic calm, not panic. This is what it means to see past the majority. It isn't about a higher test score. It's about waking from a collective dream. Most are tossed by the waves. You have learned to read the tides and adjust your sails. The path is less crowded. I will not romanticize it. The altitude is higher, the air is colder. But the vantage point changes everything. You have stepped out of the chorus. You have discarded the assigned part. You are no longer an actor in a play written by others. You are the playwright. But remain vigilant, because the moment you believe you have mastered the game is the moment you are most susceptible. The play never closes. Your ego waits for your arrogance. It waits for you to look upon the crowd with scorn rather than insight. The second you do, you rejoin them, just another reactor now to your own pride. The true architect remains a perpetual student, always watching, always calibrating, always maintaining the inner citadel. The gate is open. You have walked through. Do not wander back in just because the familiar noise sounds like company. Keep walking into the depth, into the quiet. That is where the real work waits. If this has shifted your perspective, know this is merely the surface of what can be discussed. There are depths, nuances of strategic psychology that the public platform cannot sustain without distortion or removal. The visible algorithm necessarily dulls the sharpest tools. Those deeper frameworks exist for those who step closer. If you're still listening, you're already different. The winds of thought guide those who choose to listen. If you want to explore further, the path continues. Your next move is yours. Silence is not empty. It is full of answers. Your enemy is your most honest teacher.